Right, hello there and welcome back to Forza Horizon 5. We are trying to win ourselves another car, as is often the case. We had the choice of a Z4 or a Supra, and we've taken the Supra. Of course. Z4's nice enough, but I don't know, it's just not as cool somehow. Airborne pass, apparently. That's kind of funny. I'm not quite sure how I got that. So this is one that we've tuned up a little bit, as you can probably tell by the paint job. We've put a little bit of effort into it. Ugh, still not perfect though. It can only compensate for lack of skill so much. And not knowing what the track is going to do next also doesn't help. I have done this one, and not that long ago either. It's a rear-wheel drive car, which means that I should be getting the tail out a lot more, but it's almost behaving like an all-wheel drive. Too much grip. Just not enough on the tyres, one of the two. Also, not getting the power on as I turn again. This is a recurring theme. It's also just a bit sketchy driving through the streets like this. I often try and use the brake lights of the cars in front as a gauge. Oof, the little hop over the corner there also didn't help. Okay, seems the brakes aren't quite strong enough. Can we cut in here? He's taking a better line, but if we can just cut him off, then that's always handy. Alright, now we cross paths over the top of where we were going through the tunnels before. So, take out some pot plants that did nothing to deserve that treatment. Of course he comes screaming in on the inside and yet somehow manages to power through the corner just as well. This is a corner that isn't really a corner, so we can get through that one nicely. Sometimes the AI gets a bit confused by those. It's like, oh, it's a corner. But you can just drive straight through it. Well, we got there in the end. Pretty easy. On to the next one. Racing through the canyons this time. I do really wish that they staged these street races more sunset, maybe, rather than dusk or night. I feel that would bring the colours out a lot nicer. But we've got to have the dark, gritty, nighttime racing. Even though this is not even remotely like, you know, Need for Speed style street racing. I honestly feel, I've said it before, I'll say it plenty of times again, I feel they could have just done without the whole street racing scene thing and just made it more proper street races, like road racing, you could say. There are like 6 races that do involve head-to-head for pink slips, essentially. You know, you win the model of car that you're racing against. You don't lose yours if you lose, though, so far as I'm aware, so it's a little bit one-sided. But yeah, that's only about half a dozen of them, and then all the rest of them are just road races without the fences and the crowds, really. And with traffic, technically. But then, like this, I'm not seeing any traffic, so the sole distinguishing feature has been removed anyway. Sometimes it's not there, and sometimes the AI will crash into them even. More often than not, I'll crash into them. But that always makes me feel even worse anyway, because it doesn't feel like that kind of game, or shouldn't be that kind of game. So I like having the traffic off, but in which case, just make it a normal event. And have the corners well lit. I prefer the flags to the flares too. Just seems like polluting, really. Doesn't seem cool. They should have some funky holographic things instead. Bring some... There's no, like, telling when this is set. Let's bring some futuristic elements into it. That'd be fun. It's not even that futuristic, to be honest. The future is now, old man. And last but not least, we have the Coast Run. Yet another case of going from a nondescript location to the ocean. I guess it's a more dramatic place to finish, isn't it? Than just in the middle of a field somewhere. Just weed my way through. This kind of comes back to a really good lesson when it comes to any sort of racing, really. It's the old idea with like a long distance race is that you should pace yourself. And that's true to an extent. However, at the start, it's often really important to get, not necessarily ahead, but at least to the front pack. You got to get to the leading pack, and then you can pace yourself. If you're way back, you're just leaving yourself a lot of extra legwork to do later on. If you can just keep pace, that's what matters. Ooh, thankfully, street posts, or whatever that was, powerball probably. Thankfully, they don't mind too much about you just driving straight through them in this game. If this was Truck Simulator, I'd come to a very hard and fast stop there. Halfway there. So, it's called Coast Run, but... oh, these corners I am doing terribly. So much for tuning for cornering. I hate this corner. Oh, seriously? Yeah, of course they managed to get ahead of me. It says Star Wars on the back of it? It does. That's interesting. I do like the fact that they do make use of community paint jobs. Makes it a little bit more interesting. Doesn't always fill them out very much. I guess it depends on how popular the car is and how interesting people make them, but it's nice when you do see them. Aha! Somehow I managed to do better at a corner than them. That's what happens when you actually pay attention. And immediately lose it again. It's just hard to tell sometimes how severe these corners actually are. With some of them I should be able to just drive straight through without it so much as turning. But I thought that one was one of those. And that didn't work very well. So, very messy. For a rear-wheel drive car, this has a lot of grip. Turns out. And we get the 911 GT2 RS, which we need for the weekly challenge. And it's just as well because we didn't actually own this one already. Sometimes I find that I'll complete something like that and I'll have a couple of them stashed already. But in this case, I needed it. Reach a total of 483 k's an hour across speed zones. Okay, that's weird, but I can do that. Let's just take it to the motorway. There's a ton of speed zones on the map that you can take things, of course. But by far the easiest to just do at a high speed is the one that's on the motorway. And we're currently doing 330 k's an hour through it. Our average is actually going to keep increasing, whereas for most it'll decrease as you do corners. This doesn't really have corners. And we're going to have to come back and go the other way and do it again, because we needed to get like 460 something. But, you know. It means that we know what our target we have to hit, so now we just spin around, and we barely even have to try going back the other way. We only need to get like 100 or something. Looks like there's a few other people doing the same place. Yes, we're already doing 200 instead, so way more than what we need. Unfortunately, we don't get any passing skill things along here. Oh, he's drifting. Okay, interesting. Interesting choice. But yeah, other cars don't exist, so we can't get any of the passing skills. But that's fine. I'll take it for being able to just easily do the challenge. There we are. Now I'll do some drifting. Refined racer complete. Yes, so refined. And now it seems all we need to do is beat any ghost in Rivals. That's an interesting one. Now, of course, the most obvious thing to do would simply be to do the shortest possible circuit. But we'll do something a little bit more interesting. We'll take it on the Plaza circuit. My rival is at 13 minutes, so I don't really need to try too hard. And I don't want to set a desperately good time, just in case we have to beat ourselves again at some point. Or beat a different rival with the same car. And also this track is actually quite tricky, so let's not take our chances. But at the same time, I hate just going slow for the sake of going slow, so we're stuck in that awkward bit of not pushing too hard, but also it's not a walk in the park. To be fair, this isn't a tuned car, so either way, it would be a pretty easy one to beat. Just being very conservative through some of the corners, that's all. This is a pretty nice car. It handles really well despite me not having done anything to it. Ooh, 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 ooh. He says almost spinning it into a wall. That corner there, I have just touched the back of the car so many times doing these sorts of things and ended up with a dirty lap. We're wanting to do a clean lap. We don't have to do a clean lap, we just need to beat our rival, but I'd rather do a clean lap as well. Counts for my stats that way. And bring it home. So, what's the final step? Complete an event lab event and really put it through its paces. Alright, well, I don't suppose we can do any of these event lab events with it, can we? Track Toys, Retro. Oh, there we go, Track Toys, S1 900. Is this a track toy? Well, what do you know? So it is. So we'll net ourselves some bonus points by completing 2 events with 1. We'll get the weekly challenge and we'll get this. Let's go back inside the car, shall we? Now that I'm actually having to race more seriously. Ooh, the AI is not going to like this track very much, I feel. These are some interesting cars that we're racing against. Not sure I'm going to like this track much, to be honest. It looks quite exhausting. Once again, very much a case of, if in doubt, slap some big buildings in. Big buildings, big grandstands. What is that in front of me? That isn't so much a track toy. It's doing good lines with it, that's for sure. I kind of want to know what that is. It's like a classic of some description. Very low. Just as well there's no bumps on this. I overestimated, or underestimated, how well this thing could turn, it turns out. I don't have to do clean laps on this one. Ooh, that's a little bump there. I'll try and send you sideways. That's cruel. I've done well to design like a little pit lane sort of area as well. Pushed him wide. Haha. Sucker. That's normally what you guys do to me. Yeah, big high rises, just all duplicates, and some sweeping corners, some grandstands. Seems to be the Event Lab template. It was not a great corner, I don't think. Oh yeah, especially given how tight I have to do this one. Yeah, there we go. Got undertaken. After I did so well. Ooh, okay. I really need to pay attention. Let's see. It's just so many, like, corner after corner after corner. Just have to think a lot with this one. So it's kind of an exhausting race, to be honest. And I'm just not doing my corners very well either. I'm not... Ooh, okay, I'm going to rewind that. Just clipped it. I thought those tyres were going to give way. There we go, that's better. Much better. Finally, a corner I can almost be proud of. time to throw it all away again on this. It's because I'll get too eager to accelerate and there's another corner straight afterwards, so I shouldn't. So I need to recognize when it's a sequence. So this one I'm safe. This one isn't really a corner. And then this is 2 in a row, leading into another really difficult one. There we go. And through. Much better. Learn the track. Oh, and never mind. Rested on our laurels a bit hard there. So go wide here. Now we go. We've got to go in tight on the first, and then we can go wide on the second. Alright. Still not great, but could have been worse. That one we're actually allowed to accelerate properly out of, and then the next two are just pretty standard. But we've got to be careful not to accelerate too much before that one, or we'll hop into the wall. Okay. So we had to actually pay attention on that one. Not a bad thing. And we get a very nice E-Type Jaguar. And interestingly, that didn't actually count. So that's annoying, because how was that not an Event Lab event? It literally says Event Lab on it. So we're going to have to investigate a little bit more about that. So I guess it means that I just have to choose one from here instead specifically. Well, I'm not a fan of the fact that it's raining. It didn't say anything about that. It said it was like the hot season. And why am I up against a off-road vehicle? Hang on. I can't take a look. But it just said driving at its finest, complete. Did it just take a while for it to register? And now it's fine? Or is it just because the objective was just to play an event lab? Do I not have to win? Well, apparently I've just gone up a level, so that's that. I mean, we're here now, so we'll finish, but I mean, pressure's off if I don't have to win. I'll still try. This is at least a pretty good car, despite the wet surface. Great thing about Porsches is the engine placement gives plenty of power over the rear wheels, and you weight over the rear wheels. So even when it's wet, you get good traction. It's not quite as good as if it was all-wheel drive, but means we can take those corners with a lot more confidence. Seems weird that I just heard thunder, but there's like the sun shining. It's just this one cloud directly overhead apparently. Very strange. But we are managing to stay ahead of the competition, so that's a good start. And this is quite a nice lap as well, nice track. Start in the jungle and work our way through to the coast and finish by going up to the town. Then we'll sit on the beach and sip some sangria or something. Margaritas, that would be the right thing to do in Mexico. That's what this game needs. Or cocktail bars. A bit more to do as your player character avatar instead of just in a car all the time. That's what I liked about Test Drive Unlimited 2, because there was like clothes shops and stuff. You could get out and dress your character and stuff. You can dress your character in this, but it's just through a menu. There's no interactivity. Bit of a shame. Get on it, guys. Well, that's that one done. And it seems we didn't even have to do that, but hey, it's good practice. And with that, that puts us almost halfway to our season goal. 3 more points and we'll get our first reward. What can we do for 3 points? Get a BMW i8 that we already own. Multiplayer playground stuff, no thank you. Ah, smash some collectibles. There we go. Horizon Apex Outpost. I'm not even that far from there. I can drive. It's not often we actually drive our car between places. Once you unlock the fast travel for free, it becomes very attractive to just bamf around the map all the time. But it's also very nice to go back to our roots and actually remember what it's like to drive places. So down here, there should be a bunch of pinatas coming into view somewhere. Let's see if we can find them. Oh, it's just these guys. Oof. Oof. So that's 2, 3, crunch. Now let's have a bit more of a view for some of this. Don't need to be sitting in the cockpit for that. 4. Oop, nope. That bit overcooked. 5. 6. Wasn't a very convincing job on that one, but it worked. Whoop. I'm gonna go inside. 7. 8. Oops. Into the ocean. There's a couple under the bridge as well. 9 and... missed that one. Nope, we got that one. But we didn't get the thing. 10. There we go. Seems I miscounted. Winner takes it all. And we have the number 1 Evolution TA, which I don't think we need for anything, but it's nice to have. You never know. Maybe next season or next series we might have use for it. And we'll work away towards having the rest of the points that we need for the KTM Expo in the next episode. For now, time to sit on the beach and enjoy those margaritas with the thumping bass from the Apex Festival. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.